Let's shine the spotlight on an epic champion I intend to use on my endgame account for one particular purpose. His name is Hoskarul. You find him in the index, and this is part of my video series where I review Raid Shadow Legends champion I didn't get to enjoy in the early game and find out whether I get to use them in this end game or simply put out a champion guide for you guys to use them in your early game. So by the end of the video, you should know what this champion is all about and what he can do for your teams. So his name is Hoskarul. You find him right here. He does have an aura, one of the few epics that you see with an aura in this faction, and he has horns. So I don't know, is he human? Yeah, he's human, but he's just wearing a cape or some kind of cap covering his face. You love to see his face, but he has a long beard also. Hoskarul has a broken horn as his weapon, and this is what he uses to stun the enemies. Great champion. You can check out his reviews and what people are saying about him, but I care about one thing right here, which is his A2. So I head straight to that skill and tell you what it's all about. Hoskarul has an A2 that attacks all enemies. It has a 50% chance when you spend your epic skill tomes on this skill by booking it. It will be a 75% chance of placing AoE stun. That means it's going to be landing stun on all the enemies. Since it's not a 100% chance, since it's also a spirit affinity champion, it's not always going to be a 100% chance of landing the stun on every enemy, right? But you hope to see it landing 75% of the time. If you're unlucky, it might even land only 25% of the time. Let's say 2 out of 5 enemies or so, something like that. But in content where I intend to use him, you can try again until you get the number of stuns you're looking for. So this is why I built this champion up. This is why I'm hyping him up in this video. When it was released in Raid, I didn't get to use him because I think it was either used as a fusion or something like that, or it was given to us and I didn't get it. So decrease the stun meter of enemies under stun by 15% is an additional advantage. So the enemies he just stunned get their stun meter decreased a little bit, just a little bit, but that's still enough to delay them taking off the stun and maybe get around to his kill fast enough to stun them again if he's way faster than the enemies. So another skill that has a stun is also the A1. That it's a small chance, also a 30% chance to stun when you spend books on this A1, which is totally worth it. It's going to be a 40% chance to stun. That's still a good chance to stun an enemy. One enemy, though, it's not an AoE skill right here, but this one will hit somebody and you hope it's going to land the stun. He does have some masteries I'll show you later, which can increase the chance that he places this stun on the A1 and the A2, which is very, very important mastery on a champion like this. This is not a damage dealer. You can build him for damage, but most players will be building him just to meet this stun requirement and also the speed requirement, because stun champions like this want to go fast before the enemies get a chance to do anything to your teams. Alright, for the A3, it's a skill that it feels like a full team cleanse, but this skill only removes stun. So you're gonna cleanse the team, your allies, of any stun debuff that the enemies have landed on them. It doesn't remove decreased defense, weaken, or any other debuff like that. It's just going to remove stun. If there are no stun on your allies, he's still going to place increased defense and increased resistance on all your allies for 2 whole turns. So this skill is not really that great to be honest, but I love the increased resistance and increased defense, of course. But in terms of the synergy with the rest of his kit, this is kind of out of place if you ask me. Removing stun. It should maybe just prevent them from getting the stun in the first place. Alright, then for the final part of his kit, which is the passive, he's immune to stun debuffs. So if you know any content where you're always getting stunned and you cannot deal with it, he's a champion that can bring into that content because he cannot be crowd controlled with the stun debuff. He increases damage inflicted by allies. Your allies deal 15% more damage against enemies under stun debuff. So that's kind of important. When you have the enemy stunned, you do more damage to them and they can die faster. Alright, then finally you can see his aura. He has increased defense in faction creep by 30%. Whenever you see a champion with an aura for faction creep, it tells you that they are hoping on they created this champion with the intention that the community will use him most likely in the faction wars. So it's definitely an MVP in that faction, because if you know anything about faction wars, if you cannot control the enemy, they will get turns and nuke you down. But if you can control them with him and somebody else, because tell you right now, this stun might not be enough to permanently keep the enemies from not hitting you. You might be able to stop them for 1 turn and it goes on a 3-turn cooldown, but you need somebody else to do the same job after the stun falls off. So you might need, some players might even build 2 copies of Hoskarul depending on the content you are trying to beat. but I'd say you always want to pair with somebody else who can also do a similar crowd control. It might be freeze, it might be provoke, it might also be stun. So take note that it's not always going to be locking the enemies out. So but you can nuke them down before they even get a chance to do crazy things to you with the passive. So faction creep champion, according to what Raid is saying about him. He does have good base stats, not a lot of high speed. It's not above 100 or anything, but his HP is high. Being a defensive champion, his HP is almost 70k. You think he's a HP based champion, but that's Hoskarul. That's his skill breakdown right here. Now that you know what he does, let me show you how I build this champion. From what you can see, none of his kits says he doesn't need accuracy, right? So it doesn't say cannot be resisted. Whenever a skill does not say cannot be resisted, that means he will need accuracy to land all those debuffs he wants to put on the enemies. So that's why the best artifact set for the early game for this champion, especially for those players who are going to be using him in the whether they want to use him in content like Dragon or any wave clear content. I don't care whether it's Dragon, Ice Golem, Fire Knight, as long as you want him to help you with the wave and crowd control them so your Kale and other champions can get through the wave successfully without getting nuked. He can come in there with a perception set that will give him enough accuracy and speed to do his job. That's the only two stats all you need on Hoskarul. So it's a pretty straightforward champion to build, but I'm sure some players might need a more complicated set or artifact sets to build on him depending on the content they want to use him in. But for basic early game content like Dragon, you want to just build this champion fast and high accuracy. If you don't have a banner, you will need more accuracy set, but if you have a banner, you can begin to split out the set and see how I mixed out this set that is not even accuracy. I mixed it with this one, right? Because I probably have a chest that is accuracy right here. In the early game, an accuracy chest might also prevent you from losing out on that accuracy requirement depending on the content you're trying to beat. I built mine over 400 accuracy because that's an end game content he wants to go into. I don't want to hear that he didn't have enough accuracy to land the stun, which is kind of important for that content. I'll show you that one battle there. All right, let's see on his banner right here. I did also put accuracy. Like I said, this is what is giving him up to that 400 accuracy. I went with speed substat. Almost every artifact right here you see has speed substat, not just one row, double roll, because I actually needed a lot of speed. This is the triple roll on speed right here, 21 speed plus 4. This is a no roll on speed. This one has one roll on speed, and of course the speed boots. So this champion does not need to be slow. As you can see, the content I need him in requires him to be above 200 speed, but I went above and beyond and hit 301 speed. I'll show you my total stats. And yeah, of course this one is also adding a little bit of accuracy right here and 10% speed added to it from this new pinpoint accessory. One set of it is fine, but if you have more than that, you can also stack it up and get a lot more bonuses from it, right? Up to even 5-piece set if you want to grant that one, or even a 7-piece set for more accuracy, or even an 8-piece set. That's a super endgame. Endgame players have a lot of options what they want to build on a champion like this. For an artifact set like this, I would say for an endgame, if I had high speed relentless set, I'll probably put it on a champion like this just to make sure he gets around to his stun skill quick. Reflex is also good on a champion like this when you want that skill to be available to be used again really quick. You don't want him sitting there waiting, doing A1 is fine, it does stuns, but sometimes you want that A2 more often than any other skill. That's why those two sets might be my second option if I was to build him in an end game set. All right, so yeah, I'd love to know your comments below how you built your Hoskarul and what artifact sets you currently have on him. I'll just put together a random set that met my accuracy requirement and my speed requirement. That's the only two stats I was looking forward to. If you check my total stat, I do not even care about crit rate or crit damage because I was not building this champion for damage. So maybe somebody else will have a damage test for him, but that's not this video right here. Check out my accuracy. I went up to 463. I intend to use this champion in the Corset City, which is giving him a crazy 519 speed. 519 accuracy and up to 321 speed when you apply that Corset City bonus stats that I have added to it from the area bonuses, right? So that's what his stat is looking like. He's not low on HP, he's not that low on defense. I don't want him going down with one hit, so he should be built tanky after you meet your stats requirement for accuracy and speed. That's the only two stats I cared about. If for his masteries, I went with the master. Since he's not a damage dealer, I went with the mastery that will increase the chance of him placing that stun. Like I said, the stun is the most important thing I want from my Hoskarul, and everybody keeps saying that's the same thing. That's the best thing he's best known for. From what you've seen in his kit, I don't think there's any other reason for you to build him any other way than for the stun. So that's it right here. This fearsome presence increases the chance of placing stun by 5%. Stun or other debuffs, but he only places stun, so it boosts my chance on the A1 and the A2 by an extra 5%, which is going to make me land the stun more. So this is very, very important on this champion, more even important than going to War Master. Now he also went to the support tree to pick up a little bit of accuracy, because like I said, he does need the accuracy, and a small chance of, you know, increasing duration of those 2 buffs that he lands, and then also a small chance of increasing extended duration of any buff that he cast, right? Where is it? Extend duration of buffs. This one is what? Increase the turn meter. Okay, this is turn meter. I wanted to talk about this one, that 5% chance of decreasing the cooldown of his skill. This might happen once in a while, but this might make him use the stun more often, maybe, if I'm lucky enough, right? So this mastery recommendations are from Elhate's website. Check out elhates.com. It does have other mastery recommendations for this champion if you want to, if you don't like this particular mastery recommendation. All right, I put mastery on him because this is a champion I intend to use for an endgame content. I've shown you his stats. Oh, for blessing, I went to cruelty for it to at least soften these enemies up before we go with our big nukers. That's all it's helping me do in that team. I went with this one, relic, that will give him a little bit more accuracy. And also, whenever whereas stun meter increases by 10% when applying stun. So if he applies stun, his stun meter increases by 10%. Occurs once per turn though. It's not gonna increase a crazy amount for placing 5 stuns. Alright, so that's his stats, that's his artifact recommendations. I'm not gonna recommend more than this. Some might say even put him in a stun set, but I don't think I'll have enough speed in that type of artifact sets. Alright, that's all. Let me go over to some battle content, or at least one battle content where we're going to see this champion in live action. And the main purpose why I built him for my team is going to be a Corset City stage that I don't think I've ever taken down, but I'm slowly developing the champions that are supposed to help me. I do have now legendary options like Ugir the Wime Eater. I do have Raf Matab that I'm supposed to build next for that content. So I'm not going to be taking down this content in this video. I just want to do at least one wave clear to see how Hoskarul could help with control of the wave. If we can keep them controlled, then we can, you know, deal with the rest of the teams, right? We've got to watch out for that Siphido on the 3rd wave because she's kind of high on the accuracy requirement. If you check out Elhate's site, it does have the Rage Stages 2 right here, which tells you the stats of this champion. This is hard mode, by the way. So hard mode of this Corset City and stage 20. That's why I built this champion for. And these are the stats of the champion: 340 for the first 2 waves, and then 420 for the last wave. So I had to build up to 420 accuracy minimum, 430 even, so I can at least crowd control some of these enemies as we go along. So you might not need up to that stats if you're doing a lower stage. That's what I'm saying. I only went that high because of that requirement. All right, let me see just one battle to see how Hoskarul will help crowd control. Remember, this stage, if you don't see the stats you're looking for in terms of what's happening, hold on, I think my internet was off. I was saying if you don't see the stats you're looking for in terms of the champions, you can use different ways to get through them, right? All right, we're starting with HP burn as our main source of damage, and now I want to see what this champion's A2 can do. How many stuns can we land? He does have 1 negative affinity right there. I don't know if we can land stun on that one. This is easy then. Hoskarul for the win. I did not plan this. I didn't know the first time I tried this it will land the stun on every enemy, including the one that is negative affinity against. He landed it. This is perfect. I probably don't even need a freeze champion that I brought along just in case or anything like that, but this is gonna make this battle a lot more easier, and everybody just goes in with their A1s. Damn, Hoskarul for the win. This is awesome. This is so great. All right, I'll see if he can come around to his A1. This is the A1. Land it. Nope. So the A1 is a 40% chance, like I said, so it most likely will not land all the time as you expect it to. Let's go through only this first wave and I'll end it right there. And now if the enemies do get a turn, we might be in some trouble, so we're trying to make that not allow that happen. Can he stun this one? Yes, the A1 stunned somebody at least, but they cleansed it though. They cleansed it. All good. Anyways, Hoskarul did his job, and now we are getting crowd control left, right, center. But I intend to make him one of the main champions that will help me get through this wave. I just wanted to see that A2 in action, and it did what it was supposed to do. You can bring this champion along to your dungeon wave clears because they are not as difficult as this end game content. Obviously, we are getting nuked right here, but I'll need some more crowd control right here, including a Raf Matab. We can provoke them while this stun is not available, so that's the next champion I'll build for this particular content before I come back to it and try to clear it. For now, I just wanted to record this video and show you where I built Hoskarul and where I intend to use him. And now, right now, we are all going down because we don't have them crowd control repeatedly. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'd love to know your opinion below, where you think you currently use this champion besides this content, where I think he's going to be good for, or you only use legendaries in this content. I intend to use him for this content and maybe not any other content. For now, I just wanted to highlight him in this video and showcase what he can do for your teams in raid. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily raid content. If there's any other champion you want me to take a closer look at, you can drop it in the comments below. This month of July, you see me more live, doing more live streams, so always hop onto the live stream, whether on Twitch or on YouTube, and say hi. Later, guys, and get us to 8K subscribers so we can do giveaways twice a month. We cannot forget that.